Hello, world, and welcome back to another episode of the Brothers Blue, giving you the With That Being Said podcast. This is episode number 27, and we are going to be talking about espionage in kind of a different way than we talk about things normally, because we're going to talk about some stuff like the NSA and the CIA and stuff like that, but we're also going to look at it through the lens of entertainment and how we think Hollywood or entertainment or whatever does a good job of making it a topic that is wildly interesting and portraying it that way through the big screen and the small screen. So, with that being said, that is Brother Kyle.
And that is Brother Cody. And what I didn't really think about, because we're not going to get into that quite yet, but that is, it's sort of, I feel like a throwback to our previous content where we would often talk about actors, directors, films, like a lot of TV shows, like a lot of our previous content was about that stuff. And so again, it's sort of a throwback to our previous, content or whatever, and a little different from what we've been doing lately.
And it's like it's not cinephiles, it's more than cinephiles because it's not just movies, it's TV shows and it's just pop culture in general. Like we've had conversations about the NBA, and that's like a different sect of pop culture if you look at it.
Yeah, I recently worked Fan Fusion, which is basically like our version of Comic-Con. And it made me think about like just fanhood in general is like people like develop camaraderie and relationships and friendships just because they like the same thing. People who are from like wildly different backgrounds are now friends because they love Harry Potter.
Or Game of Thrones.
Or the NBA.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so, but moving on to get again into the specific part of the the topic of espionage, because before we get into the like pop culture aspect of it, I will just start with the definition from the Google, and that is espionage, spying, or intelligence gathering as a subfield of the intelligence field is the act of obtaining secret or confidential information. And so ultimately, the formal like version of espionage was like originally code breaking, but now that has pretty much evolved into hacking, and like hackers are the modern like code breakers. And this again all breaks down into our two main intelligence gathering agencies, the NSA and the CIA, which are big topics in the movies we're going to talk in the movies and shows that we're going to talk about.
Yeah, they're big and scary is what they are. So
yeah, no such agency, the NSA.
And yeah, I think the NSA is like 6 times the size of the CIA by budget or something like that. And it's like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
So it's just scary to me how big they are.
So what's scarier to me is that the KGB was the Soviet answer to the CIA. And again, the NSA is like a whole different thing. But like the CIA and the KGB were like rivals. And like one clearly was better than the other. Like most historians and everybody else acknowledges that the KGB was a vastly superior intelligence. They just had better spies, is what people ultimately concluded. And that's the other aspect of intelligence gathering that we'll get to is spying.
Well, and that's one of those things where it's like ace in the sleeve or whatever, where it's like, oh, you're better at espionage because you have people who are better at espionage.
Yeah. Right?
Like,
Like,
oh
oh,
yeah,
it's why would you have a spy that speaks the same language as the people they're spying on?
it's like the Harlem Globetrotters and the Washington or whoever the Washington Generals. That's who
Yeah.
they put. Yeah. It's like,
Well,
oh, so they're just gonna go out there and just be way better than you every single time.
well, that's not fair. But yeah, because that was like a legitimate thing. Like the CIA was trying to be as good as the KGB, they just weren't. Another random part in my notes, and like this is what I think also goes into the scary aspect of all of this, is that like Putin was a KGB guy, and like
Right.
for
Right.
like a long time, and like yeah, that's a little scary and sketchy to me.
And I agree with you, but at the same time, I don't find it surprising at all. Right?
Yeah.
As
Now
I
that I think
shouldn't.
about it, I'm pretty sure George H.W. Bush was the director of the CIA at one point. So yeah.
Mm-hmm. I think you're right.
Yeah.
Herbert Walker. Yeah.
Yeah.
That old geek.
Yeah. Loves me some HW.
No, not me. He is like the neocon.
Yeah. No, straight up. You're right. Just tried to keep doing what Reagan was doing, but failed.
So I don't really know who Alan Turing is, but I definitely know who Edward Snowden is, obviously. Maybe that has to do with modern relevancy.
Well, yeah, Alan Turing was a code breaker in World War II, and he worked for what would become MI6, which is not in our notes, and another like random thing that I wanted to bring up later. But yeah, like MI6 is the British intelligence agency. Like that's
Got
what
it.
it is.
Yep. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
No, and actually, what's funny is that is also not in our entertainment notes, but
James
oh yeah, I
Bond,
think we
baby.
talked about it. Mission Impossibles are like such good movies, and it's all spy movies.
Yeah, they're pretty good.
They're pretty good.
Yeah.
All right, then. If you're cool, then we can move on and talk about entertainment. That's
Well, no, because again, Alan Turing was like a code breaker in World War II, and he's like the OG. They made movies about him. The fact that you don't know who he is kind of saying, like, honestly, a little bit surprising. But yeah, Alan Turing was the man. He's literally known as the father of computer science. So he's not a lightweight. And yeah, Alan Turing was like the code breaker for the agency that would become MI6. And that's all I wanted to say is that, like, I honestly think his modern version, or like the modern version of him, would be like Edward Snowden. And I love Edward Snowden, but I think technically he broke the Espionage Act.
Yep, I agree.
But I also don't entirely agree. I'm pretty like the Alien and Sedition Act does not exist anymore. There are parts of it that do, but there are laws that can, be repealed, and obviously the Espionage Act should probably be one of them. So Edward Snowden could come back to America.
Sorry. Yes, I agree.
So it's funny because we're going to get into the other aspect of intelligence gathering, the more personalized art of spying. And that's literally what all of the movies and everything is about. And I talked about how I think spies and detectives are similar, but I also was bringing thinking about another thing or another group of people that I think might fall into this group and make you sort of understand my way of thinking is con artists. Because all of these people ultimately do, or part of their job, a big part of their job is deception for all three of those classes of people.
I 100% agree.
Yeah.
And like, I'll say this, the first one that we're going to talk about, Jack Ryan would be an excellent con artist.
Yeah. See?
Not only that, but his partner in crime in that series, Jim Greer, that's played by the black dude, he would also be an excellent con artist.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I'm buying what they're selling.
Yeah, seriously. So again, it's like all three of these classes of people, specialize in deception. The con artists, especially like private detectives, especially I would think are like masters of deception, and espionage or spies. They are engaging in deception. I would say.
Yeah. I think private detectives are closer to, and again, we've had these semantical conversations where it's like, when I think of detective, I just think of like a cop that got a promotion. That is not what I think of when I think of Jack Ryan or Jason Bourne or, these guys that are like actually, they're not just cops.
Well, isn't the story of Jack Ryan and Jason Bourne that they were recruited from the military? I know Jason Bourne was.
Yeah, well, Jack Ryan was in the military prior to, so he was a Marine. Yeah, he was a Marine.
Yeah, and so like a lot of service members become detectives or police officers, or what you were just talking about. Sorry.
No, I don't think, and we should both look into
sorry.
this. I don't think service members have a tendency to become police officers.
Well, again, like this is just a reference from movies, but the movie, shoot. Yeah, it's a movie with where Jake Gyllenhaal stars as a cop. End of Watch. Yep. There we go.
Yep.
But he was a Marine, and again, I'm pretty. I don't think it's I think it's one of the professions that service members have a tendency to fall into after they have fulfilled or done their service is law enforcement. That is
all right.
I'm pretty sure that's not a stretch. Like, yeah.
No, so that is something for both of us to look into.
Yeah, but we're talking about them being specifically recruited by like the FBI, CIA, and NSA, which again, Snowden is another great example. He was a military guy. He was in the army, got injured, and then was like, I'm going to use my brain. Yeah, likes me some Edward Snowden. Yeah,
right, same. Snowden's the man. But anyways, we can kind of skip through the notes on Jack Ryan because the thing about that is just watch it, and the final season where it talks about convergence is like really what's going on in the world, and that is the mix between fucking sex trafficking, drug trafficking, weapons trafficking. Everything is all being moved through the same tunnels.
Yeah. So isn't there like locations in Mexico, but also locations in like Southeast Asia, like Burma?
I think when I said the tunnels, I meant everywhere.
Yeah, it's all over the place. Yeah. So Jack Ryan again, also the one in vein of this conversation, is really a masterclass in showing the development of him as a like in his job, in his career. Like he's so good at what he does. Yeah, it's sort of like the Jason Bourne thing, though. Yeah.
And so what I love about Jason Bourne, and that's the next note, is, and what I said is actually the truth. It's one man's war against the CIA. And like, it actually reminds me of this thing that happens in Jack Ryan, where this guy's like, or no, Jack Ryan is like, the CIA isn't chasing me. Then why are you running?
Yeah, that's good. Yeah. Also, yeah, I don't really have a whole lot to say about the Bourne movies because I have them all like on I've seen them all so many times, and they're just
so many times.
They're just masterpieces. In my like, I love every single one of them. I love every single.
And this doesn't have anything to do with what we're talking about, but the choreographed fight scenes in those movies are the best choreographed fight scenes like ever filmed.
Yeah.
Atomic Blonde, I know.
Yeah. No, because I don't think those were choreographed. Which is what I was going to get at. The Kingsman, which we're going to talk about later, has the best choreographed fight scenes I've ever seen. Sorry.
All right, then let's keep going then. So
okay,
because it's the next one is the Kingsman. So the Kingsman, in my opinion, the best scene, and I've seen all of them. I really love when Galahad is in the church in the South and he kills fucking everyone.
Oh yeah. That is the scene that is like memed.
Yeah.
So yeah, my favorite scene of all of them, and I rewatched the third one, which again you said you weren't super fond of, but whatever. The Rasputin fight scene
is great. You're right.
Amazing. Yeah. And that's so choreographed. He's literally dancing. Like, yeah.
So, and I'll also say this about the first one, is it has the Galahad fight scene, but also the scene in the end with Eggsy and the bitch with knife legs.
Yeah.
That's a great fucking fight.
Yes, it is. You're right. Yeah.
All right. So Kingsman, then Bond. Come on. Like, and that's the thing is you have to write just one word for an entire conversation. Bond. James Bond. The name is Bond.
What are there, like 16 movies? Yeah.
So, and this is actually something I was thinking about is an unfair modern bias that we have is that I think Daniel Craig might be the best Bond.
And I don't even know if like modern biases would go into that. Like,
thank you.
I've seen not a lot of them. I've seen some of the old Sean Connery ones. And
Pierce Brosnan was also really good Bond.
Yeah, he was all right.
I thought he was good.
I don't think I like him as much as you do, for sure.
Yep, definitely not.
Yeah.
Let's move on.
Daniel Craig is phenomenal. Yeah, I love like he could do like
and so Casino Royale is hands down the best Bond movie that I've ever watched. But I also really like the one that's right after that is it Quantum of Solace of Quantum or Quantum of Solace.
I don't remember because honestly I think I just watched Skyfall, which is like the fifth one he did. So, but the only thing I know is Casino again, like you.
Yeah, it's so good.
Casino Royale is the best James Bond movie I've ever seen, and like, not just good James Bond movie. It's a great movie.
So I'll say this also: GoldenEye with Pierce Brosnan is so fucking good.
Yes, it is. You're not wrong there at all. That is an amazing movie. So yeah, these are like standalone movies. Like I could know nothing about the Bond universe and watch those movies and be like, this is a good movie. Yeah.
So what's fun is that The Man from U.N.C.L.E. I watched, and yeah, you're right. It's a good movie. It's a great movie.
Yeah. Henry
Specifically-
Cavill, Armie Hammer.
Yeah. I like Cavill and like his whole character, but I told you why I don't like the Arnie Hammer.
You're not buying the Russian accent. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just neither are you, so whatever.
I didn't really notice it until you said it, honestly,
So
because I've seen that movie a billion times.
I'm gonna watch Atomic Blonde, and I'm gonna figure out how to watch it. And I want you to watch Lucy. I just watched Lucy, and it was really weird, but it also was like, it honestly gave me like Interstellar vibes, in that it was like the type of stuff that's like way beyond the realm of normal human brain capacity stuff. So
Okay, got it. Yeah. No, well, because this is what I love about the movie Interstellar. I'm sorry, but on what you just said, a lot of people are like, the whole idea of the Tesseract is a tool that allows you to access the fifth dimension. And so
right.
conceptualizing that the way Christopher Nolan did in Interstellar, he's in the Tesseract when he goes through the black hole. When Matthew McConaughey goes through the black hole, he lands in what is the Tesseract. That's But it's Christopher Nolan's version or like idea of what it might look like.
All right. So I see where you went with it, but we're off subject. So no, that's fine, because we're all through our notes. So with that being said,
knowledge is power.